Hello, my dear students. I hope all of you are doing good, and I hope all of you are on track for the upcoming prelims examination. I welcome all of you to yet another episode on economics current affairs discussion videos pertaining to the UPSC 2026 prelims examination, Dhurandhar the final revision. If I could recollect the previous episodes, my dear students, I have arranged the topics based on the priorities. That means the first episode carries high priority topics, followed by the second priority topics in the second episode, and now third episode carries third priority topics. It does not mean that UPSC is going to neglect the topics handled in the third episode, but the priorities are assigned based on the PYQ analysis. Right. So if I could touch upon the topics, in the first episode I have discussed about mainly minerals and mines. Right. So which are the acts regarding minerals and mines and recent current affairs events with regard to critical elements, rare earth elements, as well as macroeconomic indicators like new series with respect to CPI, as well as WPI versus PPI. Right. In the second episode, I talked about infrastructure related projects, major ports, as well as high speed railways, followed by very important labor codes, as well as some schemes related to agriculture. Right. So in the current episode, I am going to talk about certain other schemes with regard to agriculture and certain other miscellaneous topics, and also most importantly new series of GDP calculation, right? So which has been recently announced in the February 2026, which is also of high priority. So if you have not watched the previous episodes, kindly stop here, go back and watch those 2 episodes and come back. Hardly combining all these 3 episodes, it will take nearly 7 hours if you watch at regular speed. If you can watch at 1.5x, it may take around 5.5 hours. So this 5.5 to 6 hours is going to gain you at least 3-4 questions, right, which I am expecting. Right, if that happens, then this video series has very high cost benefit ratio. So don't miss it out. Kindly watch the previous episodes and come back to the current episode. Right. So let us move ahead. Let us talk about certain schemes related to agriculture which are very important with respect to preliminary examination perspective. So National Turmeric Board is in the news. National Turmeric Board. Right. So UPSC has a tendency to ask regarding boards. Where are the headquarters? Which board is situated in which place? And which is the highest producing state or place in the country. Right. When you talk about Turmeric Board, National Turmeric Board has been inaugurated in 2025. It has been inaugurated in 2025, Telangana, state of Nizamabad. Right. So it comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And what are the core functions? Again, may not be important for prelims, but it helps in promoting exports of turmeric products, global branding, supports in research and quality improvement, as well as enabling processing and value addition. Right. So curcumin extraction. Curcumin is certain chemical present in the turmeric which provides the value for the turmeric. Right. So what is the target? Target to achieve $1 billion turmeric exports by 2030. Again, these are for mains. If you talk about additional information for prelims, see, there are different varieties or important varieties of turmeric available in India. Lacadong variety of turmeric found in Meghalaya region. Right. It has highest curcumin content or curcumin. You can call it as curcumin or curcumin. Right. Highest curcumin content found in Lacadong variety of turmeric in Meghalaya, which is about 7 to 12%. Similarly, Erode Manjul is also turmeric variety found in Erode district of Tamil Nadu. Erode district of Tamil Nadu is also called turmeric city. Followed by Sangli turmeric found in Maharashtra. So all these are 3 important turmeric varieties. Right, all these are obtained GI tag. All of them have GI tag, geographical indication tag. Right. So these are important turmeric varieties. So how the value of turmeric will be decided? Based on presence of curcumin content. Right. So generally the curcumin content will be 2 to 3%. But the Lakadong variety of turmeric has nearly 7 to 12% of curcumin content. So prelims question can be, where is the National Turmeric Board has been situated, and then what are the other turmeric varieties available. And one more important thing can be, India is the global leader with respect to turmeric production. India contributes nearly 70% of global production of turmeric. Also, India has more than 60% of global trade share with respect to turmeric. Right. So, India has a target of achieving $1 billion of exports with respect to turmeric by 2030. Right. This is about turmeric. So, also briefly, we can also go through regarding important commodity boards in India, because prelims has a tendency to ask which port located in which state and which is the popular region of growing or production. When I talk about spices, that is spices board located in Kochi, Kerala. So spices well known in the Western Ghats, right? Don't get confused with other states like Karnataka, etc. So spices board located in Kochi, Kerala. Top spices producing states are Kerala and Karnataka. Tea board located in Kolkata, West Bengal. As you all know, Assam is the leader with respect to production of tea. Coffee Board of India located in Bengaluru, Karnataka region, especially the Chikmagaluru part of the state is well known for coffee production. Rubber Board, again Kottayam, Kerala. Kerala has both spices board as well as rubber board, right? So obviously Kerala is the highest producing state of rubber. Tobacco Board located in Guntur of Andhra Pradesh. Obviously Andhra Pradesh is again highest producer of tobacco in India. Marine Products Export Development Authority. Marine Products Export Development Authority. The headquarters is located in Kochi, Kerala again. But when we talk about highest producer of marine products, it is Andhra Pradesh. I don't think this is going to be asked. Majorly, the UPSC Prelims focuses on commodities. Again, Agriculture Products Export and Development Authority located in New Delhi. It is for Pan India to help agriculture products exports. Recent National Turmeric Board has been inaugurated in Nizamabad of Telangana state. Telangana is the richest producer of turmeric. Right. Coir Board. Again, Kochi, Kerala. So you should know Spices Board as well as Rubber Board and Marine Products Export Development Authority as well as Coir Board. All of them are located in Kerala. So there can be a match the following, which board in which state. Moving forward, there are certain varieties of rice were in the news, right? Again, prelims actually, prelims has a tendency to ask, giving the product name or giving the specifications of the product. Why is it in the news, right? So we talk about certain rice products or rice varieties, right? First of them is Adam Chini. Adam Chini, right? Adam Chini is also called Vindhya black rice. Vindhya black rice or Adam Chini, right? So why is it in the news? Because Banaras Hindu University has developed improved version of Adam Chini via mutagenesis, right, which is of shorter duration and higher yield variety. Before that, let us talk about Adam Chini. What is the specialties about Adam Chini? As I told you, it is also called Vindhyan black rice. So when you talk about Vindhya, you remember Madhya Pradesh. But this is grown in the eastern UP, not MP. Eastern UP bordering your Madhya Pradesh region. Right. Why it is called Vindhya? Because those regions which grow this Adam Chini, they have similar climatic and soil conditions as Vindhyan region. It is actually grown in the foothills of the Vindhya, right? So it doesn't exactly fall in the Madhya Pradesh region, but it falls in the eastern UP region. It is famously grown in eastern UP region, right? Adam Chini also has got official GI tag. Adam Chini Chawal also got official GI tag. right? So Vindhyan black rice is just a branding name, that's all. So what is the GA name? It is Adam Chini Chawal, right? So why it is called Chini? You might have heard Chini means sugar, right? See, these rains are very sharp as they resemble crystals of sugar. Why it is called Chini? They resemble crystals of sugar. They are very short grains. And why it is called black rice? Is it really black in color? See, any rice, if it has to be called black rice, it contains something called anthocyanin. Anthocyanin, it's a black pigment. Anthocyanin, black pigment, which is a powerful antioxidant. So that is why this rice is called black rice. So again, that is a nutritional value for this, of this black rice, as well as this Adam Chini is naturally drought tolerant, also disease resistant. It is also high in protein, fiber, vitamin D and vitamin B groups, B group vitamin as well as iron. Again, these are not so important. You might have to remember the black pigment is called anthocyanin. It is also a rich antioxidant. So why it is in the news? I told you, Banaras Hindu University developed shorter duration variety of Adam Chini, also with higher yield. So that is why it is in the news. Following that, let us also talk about Kalanamak rice. Kalanamak rice also grown in eastern UP region. It has also got GI tag. Just like Adam Chini rice, Kalanamak also has GI tag, right? It's also famously grown in eastern UP region, right? It's a traditional variety of paddy known for its distinctive black husk and strong fragrance. Black husk means the paddy, the husk covering the grain, right? The husk is black in color. That's why it's called Kalanamak. Considered a gift from Lord Buddha to the people of Shravasti when he visited the region after enlightenment. I don't think this detail will be asked. Since Adam Chini is in the news, also remember the Kalanamak rice, right? Also grown in the eastern UP region, also has obtained GI tag. So health benefits, you don't have to, and health benefits of Kalanamak, very important. It helps in prevention of Alzheimer's disease, right? Rest all in general you can write. Other traditional GI indigenous rice varieties. In relation to Adam Chini, we can also touch upon other GI varieties of rice. First thing is Thuyamalli rice, famous in Tamil Nadu. Thuyamalli rice also has a GI tag, grown in the Tamil Nadu region. It is also called pure jasmine because of its aroma. The fragrance of the rice is very good, such that it is also called pure jasmine. In fact, Thuyamalli in Tamil is also, the meaning of Thuyamalli in Tamil is pure jasmine. So next GI indicated variety of rice is Pokkali rice. So it's all famous one. I think there were so many prelims questions regarding Pokkali rice, grown in Kerala. The main feature of this rice is it is salinity tolerant rice. It is grown in the rice prawn system. Basically, Pokkali rice is grown in the regions of Kerala, which is your Vembanad coal wetland region. Vembanad coal wetland region of Kerala. This is also a recognized Ramsar site, right? So what happens? What is rice prawn system? It is a rotation of rice and prawn system. That means in the duration of June to October, because of southwest monsoon rain, the rice are grown in the wetland region of Vembanad Lake. In the June to October season, the Pokkali rice are grown. After that, only while harvesting the crop, they don't cut off all the entire stack. Rather, they will just remove the grain part of the stack. They will just remove the grain part of the stack. They will leave that stack behind in the wetland. So what happens after the October? Tides will come up, rains will come down, salinity of the water will go high. Got it? In those times in the wetland, they will do prawn cultivation. So these stacks which were left behind acts as a nutritious source of food for those prawns. So Pokkali rice grown in the Vembanad coal wetland region of Kerala. It is a GI tagged rice. It is grown in the prawn rice rotation system where during the monsoon season the rice is grown, right? And after the monsoon season, in the same area, they don't remove the entire stack of the rice, rather they will just remove the grain part of it. These stacks acts as a rich nutritional food for those prawns, and during the time of November to May, prawns cultivation happen. Alright, that's about Pokkali rice. Next variety of rice is red rice, also called Chak-Havo. Chak-Havo, Manipur region. So what is importance about this? It is rich in anthocyanin. I told you it's a black pigment which is known for its antioxidant feature, right? Grown in the hill ecosystems because it's grown in the Manipur region. Next is Navara rice. Navara again grown in Kerala. Important aspect of this rice is it is grown only in 60 days. It takes only 60 days to mature. It's also called Shashtika rice. Shashti means 60. It's also called Shashtika rice. Important and advantage of the rice is with respect to Ayurvedic treatments. So these are 4 well-known GI varieties of rice. Tuyamalli, pure jasmine, known for its fragrance, grown in the Tamil Nadu region. Pokkali rice, very important, saline resistance variety grown in the low-lying areas of Vembanad Coal Lake wetland. In the prawn rice rotation system. Red rice Chak-Havo, grown in the Manipur region. It is known for its anthocyanin, antioxidant richness, as well as Navara rice, GI tagged again, which has very short maturation period of 60 days. That is why it's also called Shashtika rice. Important advantages in the medicine area or medicine sector, that is in Ayurvedic treatments. So other rice varieties which are in the news, one is Arun, second is Nippon Bear. Why are they in the news? This Arun is a rice variety developed by Assam Rice Research Institute located in Titabar of Assam. It is drought resistant rice. Arun is a drought resistant rice because Assam majorly affected by the rainfall deficit. That's why it has significance with respect to climate smart agriculture. So just remember, Arun is a drought resistant rice, has been developed by Assam Rice Research Institute located in Titabar. Now Nippon Bear. It is in the news for a unique reason. Nippon Bear is a variety of Japonica rice. Nippon Bear is a rice variety of Japonica rice. But why is it in the news? See, there is a program called International Rice Genome Sequencing Project. Under this genome sequencing project, only the Nippon Bear variety of rice has been 100% genome sequenced. It is the only variety of rice we have been successfully able to sequence its genome. That means what? We understand each and every gene that is been present in the Nippon Bear variety. That is why this Nippon Bear variety of rice, we use it as reference to understand genetic behavior of different types of rices. Are you getting it? Nippon Bear, why is it in the news? Because it is the only variety of rice which has been 100% genome sequenced as part of International Rice Genome Sequencing Project. That is why Nippon Bear variety has been used as a reference to understand the behavior of genes, right? How genes work. So recently there was a study by National Institute of Plant Genome Research located in Delhi. They have taken this Nippon-berry variety as a sample. They have used CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technique. You all know it's a kind of gene editing technique, right? To understand the genetic character with respect to absorption of fertilizer, with respect to phosphate fertilizer, how the genetic content is responsible for absorption of phosphate fertilizer. In that way, they found out that by proper genome editing, right, by modifying the respective genes, we can improve yield by 20% by better absorption of fertilizer. So this thing is not important for prelims. I'm just telling you why it is in the news. But Nippon-berry variety of rice is important with respect to this is the only variety which has been 100% genome sequenced. That is why we use it as a reference to understand how gene behaves, how genetic behavior happens with respect to different varieties of rice. So around 9 Nippon-berry varieties of rice are in the news. Followed by there are other rice varieties were also in the news. Sava 127, Sava 134, Sava. Just remember Sava. See, these are hybrid rice varieties. Hybrid rice varieties which have been discontinued, right? Which have been banned by the Punjab government, right? That means henceforth the Punjab farmers, they are not allowed to grow these varieties of rice. So if there is a prelims question regarding Sava, these are hybrid varieties of rice which have been discontinued by the Punjab government or have been banned by the Punjab government from cultivation because they have very less out-turn ratio. That means once the paddy is been converted into rice by separating the rice, the husk of the paddy, the grain should remain intact. But what happens with respect to these hybrid varieties of rice? They lead to high broken grains. High broken grains leads to higher wastage. So that is why Punjab government has banned Sava varieties of hybrid rice from cultivating in the Punjab region. So Sava variety, again this is also in the news. Apart from that, with regard to rice, we can also remember in the eastern India there are three kinds of rice have been identified based on the duration of their cropping season, right? So in the eastern India, that is for Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha. In the eastern India, rice has been classified based on the season, in which season they will be cultivated. So Aman rice, we call it as winter rice also. The rice which is been cultivated during June to December duration. House rice, also called autumn rice, cultivated during May to October duration. And Boro is also called summer rice, cultivated during the summer season, that is from November to May. Aman, Aus, Boro. This classification does not exist in the southern part of India, right? This classification of rice based on seasons, we can find it in the eastern part of India. Aman, Aus and Boro. Again, prelims, they may focus on. Since the rice varieties are in the news, they may go a little bit extra and they may ask these kind of questions as well. Right. Moving forward, Agarwood was in the news because recently in the budget 2026-27 budget, government has proposed to develop Agarwood value chain development in the northeastern region or northeastern states. So what is Agarwood? Agarwood is also called Aquilaria. Aquilaria is the scientific name of Agarwood. Aquilaria. So what is so specialty of this Agarwood? See, if the Agarwood tree is damaged and if it is infested with a fungus, certain type of fungus, what happens is Agarwood reacts to the fungus by secreting certain kind of liquid, right? It's also called aromatic resin, right? When the agarwood has been damaged, and the damaged area is infested with certain type of fungus. To protect itself from the fungus, the wood secretes or manufactures or produces certain kind of liquid that's also called aromatic resin. This fungus infested agarwood has got high value in the market because that resin has got unique fragrance. That resin has got unique fragrance. That is why this fungus infested agarwood chips, they've been sold in the market. Right? What government is doing now is, instead of selling the chips, let us extract the aromatic oil from the chips. Let us manufacture perfumes itself, and we can brand in the global market, and we can export it. So to develop the value chain for agarwood based perfumes, government has proposed certain amount of money. Has allocated certain amount of money for in the northeastern region. That is why agarwood is very important. Agarwood by itself is not useful. Only if it is infested or with the fungus, then the resin will be produced. That resin has got some unique aroma or fragrance. Hence, those fungus infested chips of agarwood are sold in the market. We can also extract that fragrant oil from that, and we can manufacture perfumes. So usually tree is not naturally damaged, but you can see here, this is the tree, right? So what farmers do is, they will create damages, they will create dent in the agarwood, and they will also infest this part with certain type of fungus. After infesting with the fungus, the wood creates a certain kind of resin. So look at this, certain kind of resin. So the area where the fungus is infested and resin is produced, that area becomes black. This wood is valuable. This wood is valuable. What farmers used to do is, they will chop up this wood, then they will sell off the chips of this wood. Chop and sell it off. So what government is doing is, instead of selling of the chips of the wood, let us manufacture the perfume itself, so that it has got more value in the market. That's about agarwood. So where can we find this agarwood? Assam, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram. It is actually found in almost all northeastern states except Sikkim. Except Sikkim, all the northeastern states have this agarwood. But majorly it is found in Tripura district of northeastern region. So agarwood is also called liquid gold of northeast India. As what I told you, in the recent budget, agarwood value chain development scheme has been announced. So there are certain animal breeds have been in the news. Prelims, they don't ask in depth, but they'll just mention this and ask about what are they. Vrindavani, Karan fries. Remember this? Karan fries and Vrindavani. They are synthetic cattle breeds. Synthetic cattle breeds. See, synthetic means they have been produced through artificial insemination of certain cross breeds which are having high milk yield as well as high tolerance with respect to diseases. Right? So they have been synthetic because they're called synthetic because they have been produced through artificial insemination of selected stable cross breeds which are having high milk yield as well as high tolerance with respect to diseases. Right? So that's all you should know. But how much yield and how much yield per year and how much yield per day, that's of not prelims perspective. But you just have to remember Karan fries and Vrindavani, if at all they give this these names, they are related to synthetic cattle breeds. That's good enough. So with respect to agriculture, there is a program that has been announced which is called CROPIC program or scheme. CROPIC, if you can divide it, crop plus pick, you can say pick, crop plus pick. That's how you can remember. But what is the expansion of this? Collection of real-time observations and photos of crops. RO, real-time observations. pic, you can call it as photos of crops. So what is this? It is again AI powered crop health monitoring system. AI powered crop health monitoring system means what? So through this app, right, farmers, they will upload at least 4 to 5 pics of their crops in the cropping season. In the entire cropping season, they will continuously upload the pics of the crops. So what is the use? This AI system analyze the pics and it will suggest if there is any deficiency with respect to the crop, or it will understand if it is going to be affected with any other pesticide, right? It is kind of preliminary investigation of the crops so that the farmer will be alerted before any disease infestation. Once the photo is uploaded in the CROPIC platform, right, the CROPIC platform will go through the photo and it will analyze if the crop is deficient with respect to any nutrient or micronutrient. First thing. Second thing is if it is going to be affected with any other disease, right? Understanding this at the earlier stage will help farmers to control their losses, right? CROPIC is AI powered crop health monitoring platform where the farmers upload at least 4 to 5 pics, right, of the crop that is growing in the entire cropping season at different stages, right, so that the system assesses the photos and gives proper suggestions. Also, it will alert the farmer if the crop is going to be infested with any disease so that the farmer can take precautions to avoid any further losses. That's about CROPIC. So again, it will also help in faster PM-VBRY insurance claims, faster claims, because it will those photos acts as a proof. Yes, the farmer's crop has been affected with certain disease or something, right? And also this AI data will also help the government to formulate evidence-based policies. So just remember CROPIC, AI-based crop monitoring platform where the photos will be uploaded by the farmers to understand the growth pattern of the crops as well as to alert the farmers if the crops are going to be infested with any disease so that farmers can take necessary precautions. That's about CROPIC. So with respect to agriculture, in the current budget, 26-27 budget, there is a platform called Bharat-VISTAAR has been launched. Bharat-VISTAAR. This Bharat-VISTAAR, you can call it as ChatGPT for farmers. ChatGPT for farmers. AI digital agriculture platform. AI digital agriculture platform. It's also called ChatGPT for farmers. What happens? See, through this platform, farmers can ask any query. How to use ChatGPT? If at all you get any doubt, if at all you get any question, you just type it and ask, right? Similarly, farmers can use this Bharat-VISTAAR platform. They can just send their voice text or voice messages in their vernacular language or in their regional languages. This platform understands the query and it will respond both as in the voice as well as text. So farmer open the Bharat-VISTAAR app. If at all they are confronted with any challenges like which fertilizers they have to apply, got it, and where to buy, and where is the market, what is the price, which crop to be cultivated, which crop to be sown, and what is the rain pattern, weather pattern, or which schemes they will be eligible for, etc. Any information related to agriculture is made available through Bharat-VISTAAR app. Farmers can just send voice messages in their vernacular language, in the regional languages. The system understands the regional language and it will respond accordingly. They can even send the text message also. That's about Bharat-VISTAAR. So Bharat-VISTAAR uses two things. One is AgriStack. AgriStack is again digital infrastructure of farmer data. AgriStack, you can call it as Aadhaar of farmers. AgriStack includes the farmer ID. Whichever the farmer registers with AgriStack, it will include unique ID for every farmer. It will also include what is the area of cultivation, location of cultivation, what type of soil, what kind of crops have been grown related to the farmer. Every data will be there in the AgriStack platform, right? So Bharat-VISTAAR uses this AgriStack platform. On top of that, it also consumes Indian Council of Agricultural Research data, right? Whatever the research data that is available, right? It consumes that data as well. It also includes AgriStack information. So if I am a farmer, if I am going to text it, it will understand who is the farmer, right? Which is the location, what crop has been grown, what is the soil condition, everything from AgriStack platform. Based on the question I ask, it will also combine the ICAR research data. It will analyze the data and it will respond accordingly. It is also useful to bring the research from laboratories to the farmlands. Got it? So it combines AgriStack and ICAR research information. That's about Bharat-VISTAAR platform. So not only mobile app, you can also send it through WhatsApp. You can also call helpline number and ask your queries. That's about Bharat-VISTAAR app. And let us go through certain apps or technological platforms with respect to PDS, public distribution systems. One among them is Depot Darpan. Depot Darpan is real-time food grain depot monitoring app. So it monitors the storage with respect to Food Corporation of India storage infrastructure as well as Central Warehousing Corporation storage infrastructure, right? It will monitor the existing storage of food grains with respect to FCI and CWC storage infrastructure. So it has geotagging, it has IoT, Internet of Things sensors, including CCTV surveillance. It also provides a live analytics dashboard. It tracks wastage and amount of storage that is available to improve storage efficiency. In a larger angle, it will also ensure food security. Basically, it controls the storage, it controls the wastage with respect to storage. See, by assessing the quality of storage infrastructure, it gives certain rating to every warehouse so that warehouses can improve the storage facility. First thing is, it will track the storage quantity that is available in all these depots monitored by Food Corporation of India as well as Central Warehousing Corporation. Also, it will monitor in real time. It will provide live analytics dashboard. Third thing is, based on the quality of storage, it will also give some rating, right? Through this rating, we can assess how infrastructure is qualitative enough or if there is any further development is needed with respect to infrastructure. Next is Anna-MITRA app. It's about PDS monitoring. Who is going to use this? Fair price shop dealers. Fair price shops, right? Fair price shop dealers are going to use it. How? Basically, these FPS shop dealers, they have to upload real-time stock data. How much stock is available? It is to avoid black marketing, right? FPS shops, usually they they don't deliver to the last mile needies, right? Because they have tendency to divert the available food grains in the black market, right? So to improve the transparency in the PDS system, real-time data monitoring platform, that is Anna-MITRA app. Into this app, the FPS dealers, they upload stock data so that it can be analyzed on real-time basis. Second thing is, officials like district food supply officers as well as food inspectors, they can conduct necessary investigations, right? They can visit the fair price shops. They can conduct necessary investigations which are geotagged investigations, right? So they will investigate and they will geotag the inspection reports. It is kind of real-time monitoring of the stocks available in the PDS shops or fair price shops, right? Remember, this is not a grievance app. It's not a grievance redressal app. See, UPSC has tendency to, though you might be knowing that Anna-MITRA app is about bringing transparency in the PDS, it might confuse you by saying that this app is for grievance redressal mechanism. It is not for grievance redressal. It is for real-time tracking of the stocks available with the FPS shops. And it is also helpful for geo-tagged inspection reports with respect to food officers. Only these two things. Anna-MITRA app. See, these kind of initiatives, they cannot be launched pan-India basis in the first instance. So, they will be launched in the pilot basis. Initially, 4 states will be chosen, but in the prelims perspective, I don't think they're going to ask which states are going to be, this scheme is going to be launched in which states and all. Those kind of details won't be asked. At least you should be aware of which scheme, who are the end users, and what is the objective. Next is Anna Sahayata. The abbreviation is ASHA. So don't get confused with ASHA workers and all. This is different from that, the ASHA health workers. Again, this is AA-powered grievance redressal for ration beneficiaries. Can you see this now? Anna-MITRA is not a grievance redressal app, but Anna Sahayata is a grievance redressal app. The word Sahayata should give you some clue. Sahayata, it's going to help you. Right? So, as per the name itself says, who are the end users? Ration beneficiaries. Ration beneficiaries, the end users. What happens? This AA-powered grievance redressal platform, they call the ration beneficiaries. It will be automated calls. AI-powered automated calls will be made to the ration beneficiaries. It is kind of, let's say, if any service is provided to you, you will get a call from the company, right? If the service has been satisfactory or not, do you have any grievances, do you have any complaints? Similarly, every ration beneficiary will get an automated call, right, through the system to inquire about if there are any grievances, right? A beneficiary cannot proactively call the system, but in turn the system will call him. So you can talk to them in your own language. This AI system is capable enough to understand your language, and if there is any grievance, they will register the complaint automatically. They will collect the feedback. If there is any complaint, they will register it automatically. Got it? So this is to increase the efficiency of the PDS system. Anna Sahayata is different from Anna-MITRA. Depot Darpan, Anna Sahayata, Anna-MITRA, all of these are related to PDS. Got it? So that's about certain schemes which can be important for prelims, which may not be asked in detail, but at least you should remember the names with respect to agriculture and allied sectors. Let's move on to additional schemes and programs which can be important for prelims. PM-SETU. Right. So basically, these schemes, you must at least identify what is the expansion of this abbreviation, what is the objective, right? So what are the key features of these schemes? Again, they are important. PM-SETU stands for PM Skilling and Employability Transformation. This is with regard to upgradation of ITIs, right? Industrial Training Institutes. PM-SETU relates to ITIs, which talks about skilling and employability. Remember this. So under this scheme, 1000 ITIs are going to be upgraded with the outlay of nearly 60,000 crore. So these ITIs will be upgraded based on hub and spokes model. Hub and spokes model. Hub means there will be hubs. Hubs will become the central part of the ITIs, and every hub will be connected to spokes. So this hub, whichever the ITI acts as hub, it will contain high technology or improved laboratories, improved equipments, etc. So whatever the spokes ITS connected to this hub, they will take the advantage of this hub. Whatever the spoke ITIs connected to this hub, they will take the advantage of the improved infrastructure or machinery or laboratories given in the hub. Okay, so these ITIs will be, government owned but industry managed. So what government is doing? Government is including the industries to match the demand and supply gap. It is basically demand driven, right? Industry demands what kind of trained or skilled people they need. So they will help in setting up the curriculum, right? They will provide necessary trainings, right? They will be actively associated with ITIs. So it is more of a demand driven program. Demand means what industries are demanding, what kind of skill set industries are demanding. In that way, industries are associated with ITIs by setting up the curriculum, by providing necessary, trainings, right? So by this, the goal is to create industry ready workforce to reduce skill mismatch in the economy, right? That's about PM-SETU. When you talk about PM-SETU, S stands for skill, E stands for employability. It relates to ITIs which are led by or managed by industries owned by the government, which follows hub and spoke model. Remember this. Next, We Rise Initiative. We Rise Initiative. We, when you see we, think about women. Okay, so it is women-led MSME global scaling program. So women-led MSMEs, it is kind of supporting women-led MSMEs to capture the global market. It is an initiative to support women-led MSMEs to capture the global market. So who is going to do this? It is led by Niti Aayog. This initiative is led by Niti Aayog in partnership with a private company called DP World. Okay, so it is kind of a public-private partnership program. Niti Aayog and DP World. DP World is a logistical company. It's a multinational logistical company in collaboration with Niti Aayog. In Niti Aayog especially, there is a section called Women Entrepreneurship Platform, WEP. Women Entrepreneurship Platform, which is there in the Niti Aayog in collaboration with the DP World, a private company, a private multinational logistical company. So both in collaboration, they have launched this We Rise initiative. What is the purpose? To provide global scaling for the women-led MSMEs. What do they do? Experts mentor and guide women entrepreneurs on business growth. The DP World company provides logistics and global trade network access to the women-led MSMEs. They will be mentored and they will be provided access to the global market. They will also be provided to the access to the necessary logistics. Logistics means packaging, branding, transporting, marketing, everything. So, We Rise initiative pertaining to women-led MSMEs for providing them global scale, which is led by Women Entrepreneurship Platform of Niti Aayog in collaboration with a private company called DP World. When you talk about Women Entrepreneurship Platform, see, Women Entrepreneurship Platform is specifically instituted to help women entrepreneurs. Basically, for providing them access to the finances, providing access to the market, providing necessary training, mentorship, legal support, etc. When you talk about Women Entrepreneurship Platform, to support women entrepreneurs for providing necessary finance, access to the market, training, mentorship and legal support. So this Women Entrepreneurship Platform in the Niti Aayog in association with DP World private company has come up with initiative called VRISE. VRISE initiative. Next, PM-VBRY. VB Vikasit Bharat, RY Rozgar Yojana. This is to create formal jobs. Formal job creation scheme. Right. So, under Ministry of Labour and Employment, right, it is launched on the occasion of 79th Independence Day, that is August of 2025, right. So, nearly 1 lakh crore has been dedicated to this respective scheme, right. The goal is to create 3.5 crore jobs. See, do you have to remember all the fund allocations? No. But if the fund allocation is very significant, then you may have to remember. Right? If it is, see, look at this, it is nearly 1 lakh crore. It is very significant scheme. And it is also launched during the 79th Independence Day. So that is why it becomes a significant scheme. That is why it can be helpful for you to remember the allocation. Right? So the target is to create 3.5 crore jobs by 2027. That means from 25 to 27, within the duration of 2 years, government is aiming to create 3.5 crore formal jobs. Among them, it is aiming to create 1.92 crore, or that is nearly 2 crore of new jobs. Right? So how are they going to identify new jobs? If the person is newly registering with Employee Provident Fund Organization, EPFO, if it is newly getting registered to EPFO, then it will be treated as new joinee or new employment. Got it? So under the scheme, government provides incentives to both employees and employers. So you may ask, sir, where are they spending this 1 lakh crore? They are going to provide incentives to the employees as well as employers. How much and all, those figures are not relevant, but for 2 years, from the date of joining, they will provide 2 years. For 2 years, they are going to provide incentives for both employees as well as employers. Employees for necessary skill upgradation. Why employees need incentives? If they need any skill upgradation, they can spend these incentives and get the necessary skill upgradation. Why are they paying employers? To encourage them to create new jobs. Also, the employers will have to contribute to the provident fund of the employees also, right? So they may incur certain costs. So it will help those employers through these incentives so that they can create new jobs. They won't be hesitating to create new jobs. Got it? So that's about formal job creation program, PM-VBRY. Next is ADEETIE. If you remember, if you observe the abbreviation, it is ADEETIE. The double E stands for energy efficiency. Energy efficiency, which is pertaining to MSME industries. So we have a lot of schemes to support MSME industries, but MSME industries are identified with nearly 45% of India's industrial energy. So if you talk about overall energy consumed by Indian industries, 45% of energy is consumed by, among industries consumed by MSMEs. They are found to be highly inefficient. Because they cannot invest in energy efficient machines. So they will be using outdated machines which consume a lot of energy. See, this consumption of more energy also incur more cost on the production. It also, it is also threatening for the energy security. Right? That is why ADEETIE scheme has been introduced. So what are the components of the scheme? Mainly, who is going to implement it? Ministry of Power, under the guidance of Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which is also again under Ministry of Power. So 1000 crore total outlay, not a significant amount, so you don't have to remember this. But what are they going to do under this scheme? Government is going to provide interest subvention. Because some part of the interest they are going to pay. For what purpose? on loans for energy efficient equipments. If the industry is going to procure energy efficient equipments, if they find shortage of funds, they may allow to take the loan. Some part of the loan will be paid by who? The government. That is why it called interest subvention. The total interest that is mandated to be paid by the MSME, some portion of it will be paid by the government. Right. Government also helps in energy audits, energy audit of the industry. So how much energy are they consuming? How much energy is getting wasted? How efficiently industry is working? How can they be improved? So that is about energy audits. So government is going to sponsor, right? They may make it free or they may make it subsidized energy audits to identify savings opportunities. It also provides technical assistance for MSME upgrades, also for best practices, right? Also provides capital subsidy for installation of energy efficient machinery. Interest subvention, capital subsidy, free or subsidized energy audits, also technical assistance for upgradation as well as best practices in the industrial processes pertaining to MSME. That's about ADEETIE. Next is TEX-RAMPS scheme launched in 2025-26. TEX-RAMPS, it is easy to guess. It is pertaining to textiles. What is RAMP? Research, assessment, monitoring, planning and startup. Research, assessment, monitoring, planning and startup. So this TEX-RAMPS is an initiative basically to support research and development. Textile focused research, right? With respect to smart textiles, textiles which having embedded technology in them, they may respond as per the environment, outside environment. Smart, just like smart gadgets, smart textiles, right? They will be having some embedded chip or some sensors, right? They will respond to the outer environment based on the necessity. Smart textiles, sustainable production, advanced textile technology. With all these things, the government is going to support research and development, right? Why there are more schemes pertaining to textile industry? Because textile industry is labor intensive industry, right? In the idea of Vikasit Bharat, India aims to create more and more formal employment, right? So that is the reason. So again, Ministry of Textiles, Central Sector scheme. So first pillar is to support research and innovation. Second pillar is integrated textile statistical system. Again, I don't think UPS is going to go such a depth, but in case if it asks something like ITSS, if it is part of TEX-RAMPS scheme, yes, what is this? Integrated textiles statistical system. It is kind of a collection of data, right? Real-time monitoring of production, exports, employment and supply chain. It is statistical system for real-time monitoring of production, employment, exports, etc. For what? For policy decision support. For policy decision support. TEX-RAMPS scheme also provides data analytics with respect to employment, with respect to supply chain, India's size through anthropometric survey. Not important for prelims, but just additional information. They're going to provide data, they're going to collect the data with respect to standardized Indian body size charts, right? Standardized Indian body size chart, so that it will help textile industries to come up with better sizes which fits Indian market. Evidence-based policy making, etc. It is also going to provide incubators for the startups. Incubators means the incubators will have all necessary technological help, machinery help, experts guidance, right, academics, etc. So that it will be very easy for the startups to come and establish. Incubators. Also provides hackathons, collaboration with academia, right? So that's about TEX-RAMPS scheme. Next we talk about Biopharma Shakti. Biopharma Shakti program announced in the current budget, ongoing budget 2026-2027. What is Biopharma Shakti? It is to boost manufacturing biopharmaceuticals. When you talk about biopharmaceuticals, we come up with two terms, that is biologics. Biologics and biosimilars. Biologics and biosimilars. See, first of all, biopharmacy is something, it is medicine developed through living organisms. Biologics, they are the original medicine. They have been directly produced by the living organisms. They are the original medicine, they are patented. Biologics. Biosimilars, it's kind of, let's say if the patent period of the biologics is over, right? Biosimilars means the similar medicine to the biologics will be manufactured, right? Roughly you can call it as similar to the generic medicines. Biosimilars, they are not exactly generic medicines, but you can, to understand the meaning, you can relate it with the generic medicines. Biologics and biosimilars, right? So Biopharma Shakti, it proposes to support development of biopharmacy. See, there is also one more related term with respect to biopharmacy, which is called patent cliff. You all know India is the global leader with respect to generic medicine, chemical based generic medicine. Now India wants to become global leader with respect to biopharmacy as well. So there is something called patent cliff. It is a situation which we can observe in the period of 2025 to 2030, where nearly $300 billion worth of biopharmacy are going to lose their patent support. That means the patent period is going to expire. Patent period is going to expire for the worth of 300 billion biopharmacies. That means it gives an opportunity to develop the biosimilars for those biopharmacies which are going to lose their patent support. That gives a window of opportunity for India to, to emerge as a global leader with respect to biosimilars. But Biopharma Shakti is not only about biosimilars, it's also about biologics. Biologics means developing original medicine in the living organisms. Biosimilar means similar medicines. Once the biologics lose the patent support, biosimilars are going to be manufactured, right? So Biopharma Shakti is about, so what are the pillars of the Biopharma Shakti? And more importantly, why this biopharmacy is important? One more aspect is to treat non-communicable diseases for the permanent cure. Non-communicable diseases like cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disorders. So India is seeing rising trend of NCD, non-communicable disease. That is why biopharmacy can be of good help. So what are the pillars? Pillars of this Biopharma Shakti scheme. First thing is to promote manufacturing ecosystem for high purity API intermediates, cell culture media, etc. So don't worry about that. That means ingredients, cell culture, the cultured cell act as ingredients to develop biopharmacy. Again, what you should remember is the scheme proposes to establish biopharma parks. Biopharma parks, they are specialized clusters for end-to-end biologic production, right? Where the raw material is available, machinery is available, academical support is available. Second is It also proposes to establish 3 new National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. 3 new National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. Also upgrading 7 existing ones. It provides for 2 things. One is biopharma parks. Second is upgrading and establishing NIPER, National Institute of Pharmacy and Education, Pharmaceutical Education and Research. Next, the scheme also provides for setting up 1000 plus accredited India clinical trial sites. It's not only about developing biopharmacy, we also need to have infrastructure to conduct clinical trials, right? Clinical trials. For that also, the scheme proposes to establish 1000 plus accredited India clinical trial sites. Next is strengthening the regulatory bodies. Which is a regulatory body when you talk about drugs? It is CDSCO, Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. That is the body or regulatory body responsible for approving or setting standards for drugs, be it chemical or be it biopharma. So, the scheme provides for strengthening the regulatory bodies, right, by providing necessary skill set, right, by establishing necessary standards, so that these approvals also will be valid under US Food and Drugs Agency as well as European Medical Agency. The CDSCO standards should be upgraded so that CDSCO approved drugs should also be approved by FDA and EMA, so that it will be helpful for us to export our biopharmaceuticals, right? So CDSCO, theoretical perspective, if you see, it is a regulatory body responsible for approving the drugs, setting the standards for clinical trials, etc. That is being monitored by Drugs Controller General of India. DCGI is an official. It is not a body. It is an official who is going to monitor CDSCO and who will be the final authority to approve the decisions taken by CDSCO. DCGI, Drug Controller General of India, will be the final authority to approve the decisions taken by CDSCO, Central Drug Standards Control Organization. That's about Biopharma Shakti. Next, when we talk about VBGRAMG Act, much talked about Act, right, which is proposed to replace existing MG NREGA scheme. What is VBGRAMG? Again, the abbreviation expansion can be a question for prelims. It looks so complicated, but you can remember this. VB, again, it is Vikasit Bharat. G is guarantee. It's about employment guarantee, right? Just like NREGA. But this RAM, R stands for Rozgar, that is employment. AM, Ajivika Mission. Ajivika Mission Gramin. Now it is been associated with Ajivika Mission Gramin. So what is Ajivika Mission? Ajivika Mission is intended to create rural employment by supporting formation of SHGs. So now this VBGRAMG been associated with Ajivika Mission Gramin. The last G stands for Gramin. Vikasit Bharat, guarantee of Rozgar under Ajivika Mission Gramin. That is about VBGRAMG. So what can be the question? What are the differences between existing MG-NREGA as well as the newly proposed VBGRAMG Act, right? So now this has come into force in the December month of 2025. So what are the differences between existing and the newly proposed one? Earlier, 100 days per year employment was guaranteed. Now the days have been increased to 125 days per year. So whoever wants or whoever is seeking the job under VBGRAMSI Act must be given with 125 days of work per year. Next, seasonal pause. Seasonal pause means during the agricultural activity, during the period of monsoon, there will be more or intense agricultural activities, right? Earlier the problem was, since MGNREGA was there was shortage of agricultural laborers, or the labor cost used to be very, very high. So to resolve that, current VBGRAMSI Act provides 60 days pause. 60 days pause means in that 60 days there is no program, or there is no work will be given to the whoever registered under the VBGRAMSI Act, because to support agricultural activities. 60 days pause period has been introduced, especially during the agricultural activity period. Funding, earlier entire funding was coming from central government. Now 60-40. 60 provided by central government, 40 by state government. Centrally sponsored scheme. Central sector scheme has now become centrally sponsored scheme. Normally the share will be 60-40. With respect to northeastern states, it will be 90-10. So these are the major differences. And lastly, it also provides digital infrastructure supported by AI and geographical information system, biometrics, live dashboards. Everything can be tracked. Who is working, what work is being done, what is the duration of the work, where exactly the work is being taking place. Everything will be monitored through live dashboards. So that is about VBGRAMSI Act. Next, program or initiative with respect to banking. Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. So this scheme is not introduced recently, but why it is in the news, I will tell you. Before that, I'll talk about RBIOS, Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. When you hear the word ombudsman, that refers to a person or agency which is responsible to address the grievances. When you hear the term ombudsman, he is the authority or a person responsible to address the grievances. So earlier, when you talk about banking ombudsman, earlier there are three kinds of ombudsman. One is banking ombudsman, second is non-banking financial companies NBFC ombudsman, third is digital transactions ombudsman. There are three ombudsmen were there. Now, to avoid the confusion, all these three have been integrated under Reserve Bank IOS. That is why we have term integrated. Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. When it was integrated? It was integrated in 2021. 2021. How does it work? See, if there is any issue with respect to transactions, let's say some amount of money has been withdrawn without bringing it to your notice, some money theft has been happened, right? So you can complain it to the bank, respective bank. If the bank does not take necessary action within 30 days, then you can directly complain to the Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman through online portal. Got it? So they will take up the complaints and they will try to resolve it. And if you lost the money, they also provide compensation. Right? Earlier the maximum compensation was 20 lakh. I will tell you why it is in the news. Earlier the maximum compensation was 20 lakh. Now that compensation has been revised to 30 lakhs. So that is the reason it was in the news. But the scheme has been launched in 2021 itself for 5 years. Understood? So compensation has been increased to 20 to 30 lakh. But I don't think UPSC Prelims is going to ask you what is the compensation, the value. But it will focus on these aspects. It is integrated. It covers everything. It covers all financial institutions, including commercial banks, regional rural banks, NBFCs. Credit information companies means those companies provide your credit rating, and cooperative banks. Right? You can also term it as one nation, one ombudsman scheme. One nation, one ombudsman scheme. If you want to raise complaint against NBFC, regional rural banks, commercial banks, any commercial entities or any financial entities, you can raise a complaint in a unified portal. So that will be taken up. So this also provides centralized receipt and processing center. CRPC may not be important, but you never know secondary details. So under this scheme, there is going to be a centralized receipt and processing center. That means unified portal, centralized one, that is responsible to receive your complaints and process it. You don't have to go to different portals, but rather you will come to the central portal, unified portal, where it is called CRPC, where every complaint will be accepted or received and will be processed. And there is no limit for dispute value. There is no limit, right? If the dispute value, that means the dispute with respect to the money, right? If it is 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 1 crore, whatever it is, there is no limit to the dispute. Dispute value can be anything. You can come and lodge your complaint. Operation Fire Trial. Fire here stands for firecrackers. Operation Fire does not mean that forest fires. Sometimes you may get carried away by the definition, by the meaning of the scheme itself or program itself. Operation Fire Trial, it has nothing to do with any military operations also, but it has everything to do with firecrackers. What is this? See, the firecrackers have been illegally smuggled from China across the borders. Illegally means without taking proper permission. Who has to permit? Especially Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, has to provide import approval. Along with that, PESO, which is also called Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, that also has to provide safety clearance. Safety clearance means it will assess what kind of chemicals the firecrackers contain. Right? If the firecracker contains some harmful chemicals, PESO is not going to provide authorization. Right? So if you want to import, this PESO and DGFT both have to approve. Right? If those imports have not taken the necessary approvals, you can call it as smuggled goods. To track those smuggled firecrackers, Operation Fire Trial has been launched. That's it. So which are the chemicals that have been banned? No need to remember. It is lithium, lead, copper oxide. Right? I don't think that is the point of discussion. I don't think UPSC is going to focus on them. But you should remember, DGFT and PES for the bodies responsible to provide authorization with respect to the import of firecrackers, especially coming from China. Those firecrackers smuggled without necessary approvals, and that has been tracked through Operation Fire Trial. PM-MITRA Scheme. MITRA, here T stands for textile. T stands for textile. M is mega, I is integrated, R is regions, A is apparels. PM mega integrated textile regions and apparels. Mega integrated textile regions and apparels, that is what PM-MITRA. Under this, mega textile parks will be established. Mega textile parks will be established. What happens in textile industry? Textile industry is highly fragmented, where the cotton is grown in some place and it has been transported to some other place where they'll take out the yarn, and the yarn is given to some other place where the fabric will be manufactured, and the fabric will go to some other place where the ready garments will be manufactured. See, these are very distributed. They are not integrated. Highly fragmented. This fragmented industrial architecture is not going to make it efficient. We want to make it more efficient, right? So all these fragmented things will be brought together in the mega textile parks, right? So it is to solve fragmentation in textile sector, to build complete value chain in one location. Yarn, fabrics, designing the fabrics and production of garments. Everything will be done in single infrastructure or in a common infrastructure. From farm to foreign. Foreign means export. Farm to fiber, fiber to factory, factory to fashion, fashion to foreign. So this again cannot be as in, won't be as in prelims. So under this scheme, 7 mega parks having more than 1,000 acres, right, have been identified. Who is going to fund them? Center having a stake of 49%. State governments will be having a stake of 51%. So which are these 7 mega parks? Can be a prelims question. Uttar Pradesh, it is Lucknow. Following, we have Dhar region in Madhya Pradesh. Beside that, we have Navsari region in Gujarat. And below that, we have Amaravati region in Maharashtra. After that, we have Warangal in Telangana, Kalburgi in Karnataka, and lastly, we have Virudhunagar in Tamil Nadu. UP, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. This can be a question, right? 7 mega parks have been identified. So it is going to provide, these mega parks are going to provide integrated clusters. It is going to reduce input cost, logistical cost and overhead cost. Also, it will help us to compete with China, Bangladesh and Vietnam with respect to textiles. PM-MITRA. Next, CER, City Economic Region, announced in the budget 2026-2027. So you might have heard about Smart City Mission, right? Smart City Mission was morely focused on city infrastructure. But this City Economic Region is a scheme driven by economic output. Main concern under City Economic Region is economic output. So under this, there is going to be a cluster of a core city, along with that satellite towns and associated industrial hubs. Smart City Mission, they used to identify a city, identify infrastructure bottlenecks, and the fund was allocated to improve the infrastructure with respect to security, etc. Now, with respect to City Economic Region, now the focus is on economic output, not the city itself, but the economic output of a region. Now we will consider cluster, not only city, but a cluster. Cluster includes what? Core city, satellite towns, along with that industrial hubs. This becomes a region, City Economic Region. It is a cluster of a core city, satellite regions as well as associated industrial hubs. Now the main focus is economic output, not just infrastructure. Okay. So under the scheme, 5,000 crore per city economic region will be allocated over the period of 5 years. This is important. 5,000 crore will be allotted per CER over the period of 5 years. Challenge-based financing means cities compete with each other for getting funds. Cities compete with each other. Cities they have to bring in property tax reforms, they have to support MSME growth, right? The government policies should be supportive enough to promote industrial growth. In this way, cities compete with each other to get the funds under this scheme, city economic region scheme. So these cities also should be considered, or they are considered under high speed rail projects, dedicated freight corridors, etc. So these are the parameters will be considered to establish or to identify a city economic region. It is different from smart cities initiative, and the funding you should know. So under this region, under this scheme, Varanasi has been identified, one of the city economic region known for spiritual tourism. Very well, beloved, PM is getting elected. Surat in Gujarat, known for diamonds and textile industry, followed by Pune, known for automobile industry, Bengaluru, known for IT and other deep technology, Coimbatore, Erode and Tirupur industrial region. As I told you, it is not just identifying a city but a cluster. That is why you can see Coimbatore, Erode and Tirupur region known for textile manufacturing. In Tamil Nadu, Visakhapatnam known for blue economy, related to ports, related infrastructure, logistics. And lastly, Bhubaneswar, Puri and Cuttack region, Tri-City cluster in Odisha. You may have to remember this. Identified city economic region and what is the purpose. Varanasi for spiritual tourism, Surat is for textile and diamonds, and Pune is for automobile industry, followed by Bengaluru, IT and deep technology, and Tri-City, that is Coimbatore, Erode and Tirupur in Tamil Nadu, known for textile industry, Visakhapatnam for blue economy, followed by Tri-City cluster again, Bhubaneswar, Puri and Cuttack known for spiritual purposes, right? Followed by Varanasi, again spiritual tourism. These are city economic region. See, economic activity due to spiritual purposes also considered as city economic region. Don't just think that it is only for manufacturing purpose. No, mainly focus is on economic output. Hope you got it. Next, WAVES Summit. So WAVES 2025 Summit. What is WAVES Summit? World Audio, Visual and Entertainment Summit. It has been held in Mumbai in 2025 in the month of May. So why is this important? So there is a trend, a recent trend, growing trend of orange economy. Orange economy. Orange economy talks about AVGC sector. AVGC sector. AVGC means audio, visual, gaming and comics. Right? AVGC sector. Also, they will add on something along with AVGC, XR, extended reality. So, AVGC-XR sector, which is mainly focused on creativity aspect, right? Which also talks about creativity, media, entertainment. This AVGC-XR sector is, that's what we call it as orange economy, mainly based on creativity aspect. So, the government of India is boosting more orange economy based jobs, based skill set. That is why WAVES 2025 Summit held in India, in Mumbai. Focus, media, AVGC, entertainment. So, target is to achieve $50 billion market by 2029. Right. So, under this summit, there was a key announcement. Indian Institute of Creative Technology will be established in Mumbai. Indian Institute of Creative Technology will be established in Mumbai. Along with that, let us touch upon few initiatives taken in the current budget with respect to orange economy. Budget 2026-27. Certain initiatives have been taken. What are they? As I told you, what is orange economy? Capturing the economic potential of creativity, cultural heritage and digital art. Technically, it's based on media or technology based creativity. Right. So there is a goal to create 2 million professionals 2 million professionals in the AVGC sector by 2030. So, nodal agency will be Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, that's in Mumbai, that is going to be established. Also, National Center for Excellence for AVGC sector will also be established. National Center of Excellence for AVGC also will be established. And new National Institute of Design will be established in the eastern region, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, right? Following that, government is planning to establish school level content creator labs. School level content creator labs. What kind of school? High school, right? Not in the primary school. In the high school, there will be nearly 15,000 content creator labs will be established by providing them necessary tools, necessary skill set for creating content, digital content. Similarly, 500 labs will be established in the college level. That is for professional grade training. In the school level, it is mainly introductory level. In the college level, it will be professional level, right? So, WaveX Accelerator initiative is been taken up to help. WaveX Accelerator has been taken up to support startups in the orange sector. Startups with respect to AVGC sector. As I told you, Wave Summit also took place in India. And this content creation skill will be integrated with National Skills Qualification Framework. Whatever content creation skill the student may possess, that skill will be recognized under National Skill Qualification Framework. In addition to this, government has introduced Divyang Sahara Yojana. Divyang Sahara Yojana for specially abled people to promote employment or to promote skill set of specially abled people with respect to AVGC sector. Person with the disabilities, they may be having creative ability, right? They can encash the potential that is been given under AVGC sector. Remember this Divyang Sahara Yojana. Specially abled people will be skilled or will be provided with necessary skill training under AVGC sector, right? That's about orange economy or AVGC sector. Next is National Waterway 5 was in the news because 26-27 budget allocates nearly 12,000 crore rupees to operationalize National Waterway 5. Again, it is inland waterway. So, when you look at National Waterway 5, most of it runs through Odisha state of Odisha. Some of it also extends to West Bengal. When you talk about state of Odisha, the waterway, internal waterway runs through East Coast Canal. East Coast Canal. This canal is East Coast Canal, followed by Matai River and Damra River. Right? Also runs through Mahanadi and Brahmani Delta. Mahanadi and Brahmani Delta, connecting the major port, that is Paradip Port. And it connects regions like Talcher and Angul. Talcher and Angul region, they are known for coal, resource rich regions. Two ports for the necessary exports, as well as there is industry rich region which is somewhere here, Kalinga Nagar, right? It is industrial hub. It connects resource rich Talcher and Angul regions to important ports like Paradip as well as industrial region like Kalinga Nagar. Extension of it in the West Bengal connects it to the Haldia port. Haldia port Through Haldia Port, National Waterway 5 will be connected to the National Waterway 1, which is through Ganges, River Ganges. So, National Waterway 5 runs through East Coast Canal, majorly in the Odisha state. Two rivers, Matai River and Damra River, connecting the major port, that is Paradip. Also, the resource-rich regions of Angul and Talcher, industrial hub, Kalinganagar, right? So, also runs through Mahanadi and Brahmani River Delta, right? That's about National Waterway 5. So, basics. National Waterways Act 2016 identifies construction of 111 inland waterways. There is Inland Waterways Authority of India, IWAI, Inland Waterways Authority of India. It is a statutory body established under Indian Waterways Authority of India Act. Remember, IWAI is not established under National Waterways Act, but there is a separate act, that is Inland Waterways Authorities Act of India. Inland Waterways Authority of India Act, right? That is why IWAI is a statutory body responsible for governing and regulating the inland waterways. Also, you may have to know important national waterways. National Waterway 1, Ganges. National Waterway 2, that is this, Sadia to Dubri, that is Brahmaputra. National Waterway 3, West Coast Canal in the state of Kerala. National Waterway 4, Godavari, Krishna and East Coast Canal. National Waterway 5, just now we discussed. National Waterway 6 in the Barak River. At least you should know which waterway, which river. If you go in detail, also you may have to know which state, but I don't think that can be of importance. But you can make out, by looking at the map, you can make out which states and which river. National Waterways question have been, UPSC has been asking many a times. Still, it is a hot topic because every year we will be coming with some schemes to develop or implement some national waterway project. So, can be of importance. Next is Compromiso De Sevilla. Compromiso De Sevilla is an agreement as part of FFD4 conference. FFD4 conference is also called Finance for Development. See, Finance for Development conferences happen periodically. Finance for Development conferences happen periodically to devise ideas, to devise plans or programs to support finance investment with respect to implementing sustainable development goals. Finance for Development conferences happen to devise goals or to devise programs to help especially developing countries to support their implementation of sustainable development goals. This FFD summit happens under UN. Almost all UN countries will participate. The goal is to devise programs and means and ways to support financing to implement SDGs, especially for developing countries. So they don't happen in a regular intervals, but happen in an ad hoc manner. Earlier in 2002, Monterrey consensus happened in Mexico. That's the first FFD. Second FFD happened in Doha in 2008, Qatar. Third FFD happened in Addis Ababa, that's in Ethiopia. And fourth FFD happened in Sevilla, that is in Spain. So, prelims question they may ask, what is Sevilla commitment? What is Sevilla commitment? Sevilla commitment is also called Compromiso de Sevilla in Spanish. Compromiso de Sevilla is also called Sevilla commitment. Sevilla commitment relates to FFD conference, that is Finance for Development conference. The target of the conference is to devise, mobilize, finance or come up with programs to finance implementation of sustainable development goals, especially by developing economies or developing countries. Understood? Right. So, what are the outcomes of this Sevilla commitment? That details is not required for prelims. Next, with respect to civil aviation, there are so many civil aircraft related accidents have been happening, right? So you may hear a lot of civil aviation related bodies. So for that reason, I have put this slide, at least to know which are the civil aviation related bodies you can remember. Ministry of Civil Aviation, responsible for policy formulation, right? Regulation of civil transport in India. Also responsible for bilateral air service agreements with different countries, etc. That you can easily make out. DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviation. Director General of Civil Aviation, responsible for air safety regulation, airworthiness, air safety regulation, right? If a certain aircraft carrier is been safe to be given licenses, is safe to be given permission to operate, DGCA will take a call. Air safety regulation, pilot licensing along with aircraft certification. It also provides standards related to air safety. DGCA. AAI, Airport Authority of India, responsible for development and management of airports, right? It is also responsible to manage air traffic control, right? Airport Economic Regulation Authority, Airports Economic Regulatory Authority, remember this, responsible for fixing airport tariffs and user charges. Remember, Airport Authority of India will not fix the tariff with respect to airport usage. Airport Authority of India will not fix the tariff with respect to airport usage, but who is going to do it? AERA, Airports Economic Regulatory Authority, is going to fix the tariff with respect to airport, right? And also ensures fair pricing for passengers. It's okay. Next is Bureau for Civil Aviation Security. Bureau for Civil Aviation Security, BCAS. What does it do? It will provide aviation security protocols, anti-hijacking measures at airports. Aviation security protocols. What protocol must be followed by airport security personnel and air services operators? What security protocol they have to follow? Bureau of Civil Aviation Security will provide security protocols. AAIB, Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. There are so many Air India crash happened recently, right? So you might have heard AAIB in the news, a lot about it. Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, responsible for, as the name itself says, it investigates air accidents and incidents. It also recommends safety improvements. Remember, aircraft accident investigation is not being done by DGCA. So every body has their own respective responsibilities. So Air India, earlier it was a public sector, now it has been privatized. You don't have to worry about that more. ICAO, it is International Civil Aviation Organization, to set international civil aviation standards, safeguards, to provide cooperation between countries with respect to civil aviation, that is ECAO, Global Aviation Standards Setter. So these are certain organizations and bodies responsible for civil aviation. There can be a question with respect to civil aviation. Remember these bodies. Then the term quick commerce or Q-commerce is in trend recently due to increasing influence of gig economy operators like Blinkit, Zepto, right, Urban Company, etc. They are part of quick commerce, that is ultra fast delivery and dark stores. So I have put this slide not to explain about quick commerce, but certain keywords. For example, dark store. What is a dark store? If you order something in Blinkit, they will be having certain stores in local areas, in localities, right? So they will check if the product that you are going to order is available in the store or not. If it is not available, they are going to say it's not available. But those stores are not open for the public. Public they cannot visit the store and buy the product, right? They are not accessible to the public, but they just act as a storage infrastructure so that whatever you order from the Blinkit, it is going to come from those stores. That is called dark store. They are micro warehouses in residential areas. They are not open to the public. That's called dark store. Q-commerce, ultra fast e-commerce, quick delivery commerce, 10 to 60 minutes. And along with it, you can also relate with gig workers. Gig workers are the main operators with respect to quick commerce, right? Gig workers, they are freelancers, plug in and plug out. Whenever they want, they can just plug in and be part of the quick commerce. They can just plug out. Gig workers, they are also part of the same ecosystem. And rest all, it's about mains thing. Don't have to worry about it. So next is Central Pay Commission. 8th Central Pay Commission has been constituted. Right. So in the prelims perspective, you may understand. So whether this Central Pay Commission is a statutory body or a constitutional body, it is neither a statutory nor constitutional body. It is executive body. Executive body. It is just constituted by government order or executive order. Right. So it is very temporary. It is temporary. It will be constituted usually every 10 years. 10 years once, decade cycle. So 8th Central Pay Commission, who is the chairperson? Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai. Right? They are not going to ask who are the members and all, but you may be asked the chairperson name. Justice Ranjana Desai is the chairperson of 8th Central Pay Commission. Right. So what is the purpose? So Central Pay Commission, they would propose if there is any changes need to be done in the existing salary structure, allowances, bonus as well as pension benefits. So who are covered? Central government employees, also defense, all India service employees, union, territories employees. All these are covered under Central Pay Commission, and whatever the recommendations are made by CPC will be advisory in nature, right? It is of the discretion of the government whether to accept or not to accept. That much if you know, good enough. Next, so recent modifications in GDP estimation, right? So in 2015 there were some modifications introduced, and again recently in 2026 certain modifications introduced. So let us touch upon briefly what were the modifications introduced in the year 2015. So in 2015, what happened? The base year got changed to 2011-12. Base year, which is useful to calculate real GDP or GDP at constant prices. Now the base year again modified to 2022-2023. The new base year for real GDP calculation will be 2022-2023. Right. So you know, right, who is going to announce GDP? NSO, National Statistical Office, under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Right. So why 2023? Because to reflect the realities of economy in the post-COVID era. Right. Briefly, we will touch upon what were the modifications introduced in 2015. Then we will move on to 2016. So in 2015, GVA at basic prices have been introduced. So calculation of GDP through GVA at basic prices. There are three price factor, basic and market price. Factor price, the cost incurred with respect to factors of production, wages, interest and your rent as well as profit. If you add production taxes to the factor price, you will arrive at basic price. If you add indirect taxes or product taxes to the basic price, you will arrive at market price. Prior to 2015, GBA at factor cost was taken into consideration while calculating GDP figures. Now, from 2015 onwards, it is GBA at basic prices. So, GBA at basic prices will be added with net product taxes to calculate GDP at market prices. If you know the basics, then you can understand it better by. If you don't know, go back to the basics, because GDP question is hot favorite for UPSC Prelims, right? Even for mains also. So, old method was GDP at factor cost, now it is GDP at basic prices. Sorry, GBA at basic prices. To that we will add net product taxes, we will arrive at GDP at market price. And widening of data pool. Earlier, to get the product output data, annual survey of industries, ASI, was used. ASI used to survey factory establishments. But to widen the data pool, MCA 21 portal has been introduced. MCA stands for Ministry of Corporate Affairs, 21 stands for 21st century. In this portal, not only physical factory establishments, but any enterprises, even though they don't have factory establishment, any registered enterprise data has been included. They have to declare the data, their turnover, their output in the MCA 21 portal. This widened the data pool. Earlier, around 2 lakh factories were surveyed. Now, nearly 8 to 10 lakh enterprises are going to be surveyed to collect the data, necessary data for GDP. Also, financial corporations like stockbroker exchanges, asset management companies, mutual funds, regulatory bodies data also included to calculate GDP figures. Along with that, agricultural income, earlier only farm produce, value added in terms of farm produce, the crops, that was included. In the 2015 changes, even the value addition to livestock also included. Livestock means your poultry, cattle, etc. Value addition with respect to livestock data also included. That is about your 2015 changes. What about 2026 revision? I told you base year revised to 22-23. Apart from that, double inflation for manufacturing has been introduced. This can be a prelims question. What is double inflation? See, to arrive at real GDP figures from nominal GDP, we have to deduct the inflation. That means we have to deflate from nominal GDP to real GDP. If you want to arrive, we have to reduce the inflation or deflate it by using inflation deflator. So now let us talk about steel and car. Steel is a raw material to manufacture car. Now, to reduce the impact of inflation, are you going to consider the inflation of the raw material or the final product? Are you getting it? Nominal GDP figures, real GDP figures. From nominal to real, if you want to go, you have to deduct the impact of inflation, right? Which inflation are you going to consider? Are you going to consider the inflation of final product or the raw material? There are two kinds of inflation, right? So, inflation of raw material can be higher than the inflation of the final product, right? There was a problem of double inflation. So, if you just consider the final product's inflation, that won't reflect the real price. That will not reflect the real price. Got it? So, that is why double inflation methodology has been introduced, especially for manufacturing. So, to reduce the nominal GDP value to the real GDP value, we are going to consider not only the final product inflation but also raw material inflation. We are going to consider raw material inflation as well as final product inflation separately so that we can arrive at accurate real GDP figures. Understood? That's about double deflation for manufacturing. Second thing is supply and use table. Supply and use table. So listen to me carefully. Supply and use table framework means what? See, GDP is calculated. If you open PAB website, whenever GDP data has been announced, if you open PAB website, you will see two tables. One table, GDP is calculated based on expenditure method. In another table, GDP is calculated based on production method. Production method and expenditure method. In general terms, how do they relate? You produce and someone is going to spend it or someone is going to buy it. That's called expenditure, right? In general terms, production and expenditure should be equal. Whatever you are going to produce, that should be consumed. People spend and consume it. So, in theory, production expenditure method data should be equal. But there were some discrepancies. If you open the PAB website and check the GDP data value, in the expenditure method, they will add discrepancy. Last row will be discrepancy. That means there will be mismatches of values between production method calculation and expenditure method calculation. This production method calculation is also called GVA at factor cost. Sorry, at basic price. Right? Expenditure method and production method used to have certain discrepancies. To avoid the discrepancy or to reduce the discrepancy, the current methodology creates two columns. I mean, in simple terms, it is complicated. It is not as easy as it looks. They are going to create supply and use columns. So, 5 lakh tons of steel is supplied, produced. It should be used somewhere. Used talks about expenditure. Supply talks about production. They are going to relate every supply with usage. They are going to relate every supply with usage. Supply, usage, supply. So that production and consumption must be equal. And hence they are going to reduce the discrepancies in the calculation of GDP with respect to production as well as consumption method or expenditure method. Consumption method, expenditure method, one and the same. Okay. So supply and use table framework has been introduced. And expanding the data source, not so important, don't worry. LLP filings, limited liability partnerships. If two people are starting an enterprise, that is limited liability partnership. I don't want to go in detail. Those partnerships, if they are making some money, doing some service, that is not being tracked. Now LLP filings also will be tracked. Filings means income tax filings. That's also going to be tracked. Now detailed corporate annual returns are going to be tracked. Apart from that, annual survey of unincorporated enterprises. Annual survey of unincorporated enterprises. Unincorporated means those enterprises which are not registered with the Companies Act or any other act. For example, street vendors, okay, informal, whatever the petty shops, right? They usually won't be registered or unincorporated, right? So that survey also will be conducted to include that production and goods and service data produced by those unincorporated enterprises, right? So annual survey of unincorporated enterprises data also be included along with that LLP filings as well as detailed annual returns of corporates. So that is how data has been provided. So this you may neglect, but this too you must know. Supply and use table as well as double deflation of manufacturing. Next, Bharatya scheme. See, these are all you must know what is it about. That's all. You don't have to go in detail. Bharatya scheme, it expands to Bha is Bharat, Audyogik, V stands for Vikas, Y, A stands for Yojana. Audyogik Vikas Yojana. Right? It is about creating employment. How? By establishing industrial parks. Right? Bharat Audyogik Vikas Yojana relates to generation of employment by setting up industrial parks. Under this scheme, it is a central scheme to develop 100 plug and play industrial parks. Plug and play means what? You have certain capital, you have an idea, you don't have to look for a space, you don't have to look for infrastructure and all. Space is available, infrastructure is available, technology is available, resources available. You just have to come, invest, set up, manufacture and grow. Plug and play. Every infrastructure is available for you. You just have to come and set up your enterprise and start producing goods and services. 100 such plug and play industrial parks are going to be established. Outlay of 33,000 crore, not so important. This scheme is for 5 years, next 5 years. Who is going to implement it? National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation. So, implementation agency and what is the objective? These two will be important. Fiscal Health Index. Fiscal Health Index, it's a very common question, right? But very important question. Who is going to publish it? Niti Aayog. It is just second edition. What is it about? To assess and rank fiscal performance of Indian states. How Indian states are performing with respect to their fiscal. Fiscal means government budget. What is it going to assess? Quality of expenditure, where and how the governments are spending. Revenue mobilization, how government is collecting taxes. Fiscal prudence, how government is balancing expenditure as well as spending. Debt index, how much debt with respect to GSDP of the state. Debt sustainability, is the debt is going to be sustainable. These are the key parameters. Again, these pillars are not going to be asked. You may have to know what is FHI, who is going to publish it, right? So, major states, if you talk about, among the major states, Odisha is the top performer. This can be asked. Among all the major states, Odisha is the top performer. Among the northeastern and Himalayan states, Arunachal Pradesh is the top performer. Under semiconductor sector, important fact with respect to prelims, India's first ATMP facility has been inaugurated in Sanand region of Gujarat. Sanand region of Gujarat. What is ATMP? ATMP talks about final stage of chip manufacturing, semiconductor chips. It is final stage which involves assembly, testing, marking, packaging. Assembly, testing, marking, packaging. There are several stages in chip manufacturing, right? Design and building those wafers, so those are the micro components of the chips. Later comes the assembly stage and up to the marketing stage. So ATMP facility, first Indian ATMP facility has been inaugurated in the Sanand region of Gujarat. Sanand city of Gujarat. That's about it. You want to know about and one more thing. When you talk about demand gap, India meets only 10% of semiconductor demand. That means 90% of the semiconductors as required by Indian industries are imported. Next, one important thing is Dhruv 64 for prelims. Dhruv 64, it is India's 64-bit indigenous processor. It is built in India, designed and built in India. Dhruv 64, as the name itself says, 64 means 64-bit. What it can be? 64-bit processor. It is easy to identify. You can easily guess it in the prelims examination. So, who controls the global semiconductor manufacturing industry? It is Taiwan. So, that concludes the economics current affairs series videos pertaining to the prelims 2026 examination. I have covered vast number of topics. If you go in detail, I have covered nearly 100 topics, right? Some topics I have dealt in detail as per the demand of UPSC Prelims. Some topics I have just dealt in the surface level, right? Hope these videos are going to be useful. Maximum you're going to watch it for 7 hours if you watch in regular speed. If you watch in 1.5x, it is going to reduce for 5.5 hours or so. I am sure that these videos are going to be very valuable for you. I hope you make the best use of it. If you come across any doubt, you can comment in the comment section. If you want to provide any suggestions, you can comment in the comment section, right? I hope all of you enjoy these videos, and I wish you all the best with respect to prelims examination. And I'm sure you're going to excel it with flying colors. Thank you very much.